we are winning the constitutional carry argument, I think, just the other day. Someone fact check this because someone super chatted that Louisiana was going constitutional carry. But we got to be careful too. So I certainly am a big proponent of people having guns and the Second Amendment, especially when we're dealing with a crime spree that's brought us to the point where, I'll say it like this. We're sitting here being like, guys, you need to have guns. Okay, is your Second Amendment right? You need to be trained with it. You need to understand the laws of your jurisdiction because the last thing we want are good, law-abiding citizens going to jail. But look at what's going on in New York with the National Guard. The crime has gotten to the point where a conductor, they reach their heads out of the window to check to make sure everyone's on the train before closing the doors, and someone walked up and slit his throat. This happened in New York. And this is their fault. You can't defend yourself in this state. Mm-hmm. And so I would not, if you live in New York, man, to the people in New York who are fighting the legal fight to get guns legalized and they're winning, good on them. But it's gotten so bad, they've deployed National Guard.
With guns,
with very powerful guns into the subways and 250 state law enforcement. This is a problem. I'll tell you this. You know what? I got to be honest. I don't want anybody to have guns. I don't want anyone to have them. You get to the point where no one's walking around with guns. You get better security, law enforcement, policing, secure your borders, reinvigorate your community and your culture. But when you have in these cities criminals being let go and the recidivism rates being through the roof, innocent people are being victimized and killed. And what do you say to that at that point? At that point, it's how many more Lake and Riley stories do we have to have? She's not even the first story that anyone's ever talked about. Mm-hmm. And the frustrating thing to me about the Lake and Riley story is that we had I can't even remember the woman's name in San Francisco. Do you remember this one a few years ago?
I do know her. Oh, hold on. I'll pull it. I can't remember.
Huge story. But the point is, all of these stories all the time of innocent, law-abiding people being killed by criminals, by illegal immigrants. And the illegal immigration is an issue because the crime could have been prevented if the laws were enforced. We should not have to live in a country where people need to be armed all the time. But there's a reason why the founding fathers recognized the right to keep and bear arms was paramount. For one, we had just had a war, so they were really concerned. What was her name?
Katie Steinle, and also you were right about Louisiana. It was the 28th state, too.
Well, it was someone super chatted us that. And so
I just looked it up. Fox has a report.
So definitely get armed, get trained, make sure everything you're doing is within the law and legal, and be very careful because even in the instance where you're defending yourself, you face very serious legal exposure.
That's a big part of tactical training that they teach you is, yes, you are, even if you're the one defending yourself, unfortunately, a lot of times the courts don't care or won't care, and that you need to be ready for that. So they actually offer insurance through the tactical training, this one that I've been using, and they're like, it's not super expensive, and you can get lawyers that understand the law, self-defense law, that you can contact in the instance that something were to happen.
And I think the idea, like our culture will shift dramatically when everyone realizes you have to be on guard for your own safety. I mean, there are people who talk about, when I was growing up, I could leave my door unlocked where I grew up. When I could leave my car unlocked, and now I can't do that in this town. People feel the shift when crime is on the doorstep, and people will choose to live differently, whether it be carry a weapon, whether it be to move out of cities. It will have a profound effect on our country, and I think maybe that's good because people will be more self-aware. On the other hand, it will make people feel more stressed and more hopeless. They will feel like they can't trust people around them.